A severe watch remains in effect from Friday morning through Sunday evening. Affected area, lower deserts of Arizona and southeast California, as well as higher elevations east of Phoenix and Joshua Tree National Park. Temperature, afternoon highs between 115 to 120 are expected across the lower deserts, and highs between 98 to 110 in the higher elevations. Impacts, exceedingly high temperatures can cause heat-related illness, including death, more easily than an average summer day. Those working or playing outdoors, and those without air conditioning are most vulnerable. Precautionary preparedness actions. Plan your day and make plans to stay cool. Take extra precautions if working or spending time outside. When possible, reschedule and limit strenuous activities to early mornings or evenings. Know the signs and symptoms of heat exhaustion and heat stroke. If possible, wear lightweight and loose-fitting clothes, and drink plenty of water. Wear a wide-brimmed hat to keep your head and body cool. To reduce risk during outdoor work, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration recommends scheduling frequent rest breaks in shady or air-conditioned environments. Anyone overcome by heat should be moved to a cool and shaded location. Heat stroke is an emergency. Call 911.
Tsunami warning has been issued for this area. Seek shelter immediately.
The following message is transmitted at the request of the Police Department of the City of Reno and the United States Geological Survey. A sharp increase in seismic activity has been observed in the City of Reno and in surrounding areas. These earthquakes have caused damage to some structures in the area. It is possible that more earthquakes will continue to occur, possibly intensifying in magnitude. Authorities are requesting that all residents of the Reno area to take the following precautions. Be prepared to take the proper actions if an earthquake occurs. If indoors, take cover under a piece of sturdy furniture. Stay away from windows, doors, and exterior walls. If outdoors, move away from buildings, lights, and utility poles. If in a vehicle, stop in an open area, away from buildings, trees or overpass. Stay tuned to NOAA weather radio, commercial radio, or television outlets for further updates on this dangerous situation. This is a coordinated monthly test of the broadcast stations of your area, equipment that can quickly warn you during emergencies. If this had been an actual emergency such as a tornado, a blizzard, or a flood.
At 12:30 a.m., National Weather Service radar shows
Hurricane warning. Florida. This message is being transmitted in the request of the Department of Florida Weather Research. DRWR.
This is a coordinated monthly test of the broadcast stations of your area, equipment that can quickly warn you during emergencies. If this had been an actual emergency such as a tornado, a blizzard, or a flood, an official message would have followed the alert tone. This concludes this test of the emergency alert system.
Attention, a tornado alert has been issued for this area.
At 12:30 a.m., National Weather Service radar shows a line of strong thunderstorms, some severe ones, varying in southwest to and to Columbus, Mississippi. These storms were moving very quickly to the east at around 50 miles an hour and are capable of producing heavy rain, hail, very strong gust of wind, possibly damaging wind, and dangerous lightning. Persons in the warned areas should remain alert to rapidly changing weather conditions and monitor weather radio, local TV, and radio for latest statements and possible warnings.
For Alpha.
The next 7 days for high desert look like this. Partly cloudy today, breeze with gusty conditions this afternoon. Even
for Alpha, but officers from the LAPD division had already been following this suspect for quite a while. He had been acting erratically in the way he was driving on streets, and he was actually colliding with other vehicles as well. So it was at that point that they decided to attempt to pull the suspect over, but he failed to yield, and the pursuit was on. Underneath the 210 freeway there, Sunland Boulevard, you see the speeds there about 45 miles an hour or so. We believe that it is a male suspect, and we don't know whether or not there is anybody else in the car. At this point, it doesn't sound like it. And you see the vehicle there. It's a four-door sedan. I believe it's going to be a Volkswagen. I don't know anything more about the vehicle other than that, though, and of course that it does have some damage to the front end of the vehicle. Look at him there as he's losing control, it almost seems like, moving the steering wheel in an erratic motion to the left and right. And now he's here on Sunland Boulevard. Again, in the Sunland area, you see the light there. That's coming from the airship overhead from the LAPD's helicopter, Air 16 overhead, with the LAPD's Foothill Division overhead as well. You see him here, Sunland Boulevard, west of La Cañada. A driver who was first wanted for erratic driving is now also wanted for failure to yield, as well as for hit and run, because he has collided with other vehicles. However, it is unclear at this point whether anyone was hit, or rather whether anyone was hurt in any of those collisions, and all of those collisions involved other vehicles, not pedestrians, fortunately. But you see him there picking up speed a little bit, wrong side of the road on Sunland Boulevard, here in the San Fernando Valley, in the Sunland area. Oncoming traffic here, so officers will not follow him when he's on the wrong side of the road here. They're going to stay on the right side of the road to avoid colliding with any other vehicle as the suspect continues here on Sunland Boulevard. We're also now hearing that this suspect is wanted for assault with a deadly weapon on a peace officer. Go ahead, Jack. Alpha. So we are actually hearing over the police scanner as they relay information about this pursuit, and we're hearing that this suspect is also now wanted for assault with a deadly weapon on a peace officer. In all likelihood, he used that vehicle to come at the officers, and for that reason, they are considering the vehicle a weapon, and this suspect is now wanted for assault with a deadly weapon. We are also hearing, though, that the suspect may be armed with a knife. No information about whether he has tried to use that against anyone in any way, but maybe coming to a stop here on Sunland Boulevard in the Shadow Hills area, just behind the trees here. But he's off again. So just when you think he is going to stop, he continues on. You see the address there, the 9600 block of Sunland Boulevard. We're going to be held up here for a moment because of air traffic coming into Burbank Airport, but we're going to try to maintain the shot the best that we can. You see him here, Sunland with a cross of Wheatland. And let me see how many units of the LAPD's Foothill Division are behind the suspect. I'm going to count them as I go here. I see about 3 units of the LAPD behind this suspect, in addition to the LAPD's airship, that of course being Air 16 overhead. Losing control there a little bit as he hits the curb. And again, this suspect already hit the spike strip, so we know that those tires on this vehicle are going to be jeopardized by that as this pursuit continues. Oh, reversing into the police vehicles. Just hit the primary vehicle there in the pursuit, colliding with the front of the vehicle, and he's back off going here, Sunland Boulevard in the Shadow Hills area. The last major street that we crossed was Wheatland, but you see the address there, the 9600 block of Sunland, coming up to Helen Avenue. And you saw what he did there to the police vehicle, ramming the front of it as he reversed right into it. That will count as an assault with a deadly weapon on a peace officer, which is already one of the reasons why officers were trying to pull this suspect over. And we just witnessed it ourselves as he rammed into the primary vehicle in this pursuit. Copy, thank you. Continuing westbound on Sunland, approaching Tuxford. We're going to be coming into the Pacoima area here shortly. So this is going to be the San Fernando Valley. So this is going to be the valley side of the city of Los Angeles. Some of the cities coming up will be Pacoima. If he continues in a northerly direction, it will get him up to the areas of Sylmar, San Fernando. But for now, we can call this the I'd call it the Pacoima area. Oh, losing control there, just weaving in and out of lanes here. Sunland Boulevard with a cross of Tuxford. The driver purposefully losing control of the vehicle as he zigzags his way through lanes here on Sunland Boulevard at Latuna Canyon, and maybe pulling in here to a Chevron gas station. The second time that we have seen him pull into a gas station and simply using it to get back out, and now going to be going eastbound Sunland, coming right at the officers on Sunland, attempting to go head on with a black and white, but the officers were able to pull off here at the very last moment to avoid colliding with the suspect vehicle. Going back now in the direction that we just came, Sunland Boulevard with a cross of Tuxford. So let's talk a little bit about the possibility of a pit maneuver. The speeds are ideal. He's going under 35 miles an hour, which is perfect for a pursuit. And this is a smaller vehicle. It's just a small sedan. So the police vehicles could likely spin the vehicle out if they attempted a pit maneuver. However, what they have to take into consideration is that this suspect is believed to be armed with a knife. So for that reason, they may not try it. He's just on the other side of this tree here. So we're gonna move over just a touch to clear the tree out of the way, which we can't do right now because of Burbank Airport. They're not allowing us to cross over the street here, but the suspect appears like he's going to continue on. the LAPD airship overhead is looking at the wheels. They're looking at the tires of this vehicle to try to figure out whether or not they were in any way damaged by the spike strip. And at this point, the officers, oh, here we go, gonna be reversing back into the officers, high rate of speed. That officer moving out of the way just in the nick of time, and the suspect continuing back in drive, oh, right toward that officer. Oh gosh. He is chasing after these officers, reversing into them, driving into them, just so incredibly dangerous. He stopped yet again, and he's going to ram this officer. There you go. Ramming this police SUV from the LAPD's Foothill Division. And continuing on, reversing here, U-turning, oh, right into the cruiser. Just rammed that police car. And continuing westbound. Wow, this driver is so erratic, so dangerous, putting so many lives in danger here on Sunland, in the San Fernando Valley, in the Shadow Hills area, slowing down, but I don't trust him. Every time he's done this, he has rammed into a police car, but he's slowly creeping through the intersection here, slow on the go westbound. He has already collided with a number of police vehicles as well as civilian vehicles, is what we heard early on. What I believe is a Volkswagen, blue in color, with a single occupant in the car, a male who is wanted for assault with a deadly weapon on a peace officer. We're hearing though that the driver's side tire may be flat, so that spike strip that this suspect ran over appears to be affecting the driver's side wheel. The front wheel on the driver's side is going flat. Hopefully that is what will bring this to a stop. He's at Sunland with across the La Cañada with the LAPD close behind. Oh, wrong side of the road here on Sunland. This driver is just wreaking havoc here on Sunland Boulevard in every direction that he goes. Wrong side of the road here. Maybe entering the Chevron gas station yet again. Second time around. He went into a Shell gas station twice. Now this Chevron gas station twice. We're hearing that the LAPD SWAT team has been requested for this pursuit. Now, those vehicles aren't going to directly chase the suspect, but they have, oh, here we go, ramming the vehicle again. Ramming that police car. That's at least the third one that we have seen him hit, not only when he's reversed into them, but also head on with officers. And we're hearing that the SWAT team has been requested because should this turn into a barricaded situation where the suspect refuses to come out of the vehicle, then they could box him in with the SWAT cars. So that's kind of the thinking that they're having about this situation. They don't feel that this suspect is going to voluntarily surrender to authorities. For that reason, the SWAT team has been called, and they're assembling their team. Oh, back into these officers. Unbelievable. Reversing there, and the units are going to move out of the way. You see the suspect there ramming into the front of this police car. You see the suspect there, though. It looks like his window's down. We can see him pretty well there, wearing a black t-shirt, and really just out of control, wreaking havoc here on Sunland Boulevard with a cross of Penrose at a very slow speed now, but continues to ram into the police vehicles. Very slowly here on Sunland Boulevard with across of Penrose, but is now picking up speed here about 20 miles an hour and slowing down yet again. You see the night sun there, that's from the LAPD airship overhead. And you also see that front tire, that driver's side tire is going flat. And back into the police cars yet again. I'm almost not surprised anymore. He's done this so many times now. Wanted now for multiple ADWs, assault with a deadly weapon, on not just one but multiple officers. We currently are being held up here by Burbank Airport, but of course we're going to maintain the best shot that we can here as the suspect continues on some of Glen Oaks. There are a few airplanes that are landing at Burbank Airport, so for that reason we may have to keep a little bit of a distance, but we'll try to keep the best shot that we can as the suspect continues here violent with a cross of Glen Oaks. Thank you. The suspect is sticking a knife out of the driver's side window. So that is the knife that officers were referring to before. They knew that he was armed. I wasn't sure how they knew that, but now we know that the officers have seen it. They've seen the knife. The suspect has pulled the knife out of the window so they can clearly see that this suspect is armed. And for that reason, there we go, once again, ramming into that police car. Glen Oaks here with a cross of Sunland. Officers are not going to try a pit because of the knife, is what we're hearing over the scanner. So because of the level of danger, they're not going to try a pit maneuver. Sure. Are we streaming on Telemundo as well? Hey, cool. Hitting the police car yet again. Here on Glen Oaks with a cross of Nettleton, coming to what appears to be a stop and then just taking off yet again. This suspect is wanted for assault with a deadly weapon on a peace officer. Here on Glen Oaks with a cross of Wheatland is the cross. So we're in what I would call the Sun Valley area. Picking up speed here and using every lane of the street here to get by. And coming to a stop yet again. And ramming into the cars yet again. Wow. And attempting to ram the police officers yet again. Beanbag rounds are being used on the suspect, but they did not seem to be effective. He is taking off yet again. Pulling into the Arco gas station on Roscoe and Glen Oaks. A lot of people here in this gas station. At the Arco gas station, you see him pulling in there. Oh, maybe getting on the wrong side of the freeway. Oh, maybe getting on the wrong side of the freeway here, guys. He's on the northbound 5. Wrong side of the road here on the northbound 5. Oh gosh, he's trying to U-turn here on the freeway. Oh, continuing wrong way in the carpool lane on the northbound 5, going southbound in the northbound lanes. This is so incredibly dangerous. Officers are not going to follow him. They are not going to follow him when he makes this dangerous move here, going the wrong side of the road on the 5 freeway. Again, he's going southbound in the northbound lanes of the 5 freeway. He's in the carpool lane. That officer that you see there is on the opposite side of the freeway. They have their beanbag rounds. That's what you see there. Suspect continuing here southbound in the northbound lanes. In the carpool lane, officers from the LAPD division are on the opposite side of the freeway. So they're on the right side of the road. The suspect is on the wrong side of the road, and we have the airship overhead keeping track of where this suspect is currently driving. Again, southbound on the northbound lanes of the 5 freeway in the North Hollywood area. Then, go ahead, Jamie. Now we're just going to take a quick pause from our broadcast for NBC to just say a few words for our sister station, Telemundo, who is also broadcasting this pursuit. Buenas noches desde el helicóptero. Yo soy Eliana Moreno, reportando sobre una persecución de la policía de la ciudad de Los Ángeles de la división Foothill. La persecución empezó aproximadamente hace como unos 20-25 minutos y ahora el conductor de este vehículo está manejando en dirección sur, pero en los carriles que van en dirección norte de la autopista 5, cerca de la salida a North Hollywood de la autopista 5. Les repito, el conductor va en la dirección incorrecta en la autopista. Voy a mover la cámara aquí para que puedan ver la diferencia. Todos los carros que ven en la parte derecha de la pantalla van en la dirección norte. El conductor ahora va en dirección sur, pero en la autopista, que normalmente sería todo en dirección norte. Y va a chocar con este vehículo. Oh, no. Oh, wow. El conductor inicialmente estaba manejando en una manera en la cual la policía de la ciudad de Los Ángeles lo notó, lo trataron de parar, pero fue cuando la persecución empezó. Ahora vemos que la autopista 5 en dirección sur está completamente cerrada a causa de esta persecución que está en los carriles en dirección norte. Les repito, esta persecución empezó aproximadamente 20-25 minutos en el área de Sunland, cuando la policía atentó de parar a este sospechoso, quien estaba manejando en una manera muy loca, pero el sospechoso no paró el vehículo y fue cuando la persecución empezó. Y ya ha chocado varias veces, no solamente con carros regulares, pero también con los vehículos de la policía. Hemos visto que el sospechoso ha chocado por lo menos 5 o 6 veces con los oficiales de la policía de la ciudad de Los Ángeles de la división de la división Foothill. Y el sospechoso es la única persona adentro del vehículo. No creemos que hay nadie más adentro del carro. Y les repito, la policía no lo va a seguir. Como va en dirección incorrecta, no van a ver a ningún policía en los carriles de la dirección norte. Todos los carros que ven de la policía vienen en dirección sur para tratar de agarrar a este sospechoso. Y aquí vemos a un conductor de otro vehículo
que está tratando de parar al conductor. El sospechoso que va en ese vehículo está armado con un cuchillo. Entonces esto es extremadamente peligroso porque no solamente tiene al vehículo con el cual ha tratado de chocar con otros carros, pero también está armado con un cuchillo. Obviamente una situación muy peligrosa aquí en la ciudad de Burbank. Y ahora vamos a tomar una pequeña pausa, vamos a seguir trayéndoles estas imágenes de esta persecución en la autopista 5 en el área de Burbank, pero ahora vamos a también decir unas palabras para nuestros televidentes de nuestra cadena hermana NBC. Cool. Back with you guys here, News Shopper for Alpha, Eliana Marino, along with my pilot Patrick McKernan. Just to recap here a little bit, the suspect continues traveling on the northbound 5, but in the southbound lanes. He's currently in the carpool lane. You see there the carpool sign right next to him. And there was a point about 30 seconds ago when we saw a driver from another vehicle who attempted to come up to the suspect vehicle to perhaps try to persuade him to pull over, but obviously it didn't work, and obviously it was very dangerous, and we know that because we know this suspect is armed. He's armed with a knife, and for that reason, even the officers would not attempt a pit maneuver on him. And now we're hearing that the suspect may be cutting himself with the knife with which he is armed. We know that he is armed with a knife because he was sticking it out the window. The officers who were directly in trail of him could see it, and now the airship overhead can see the suspect as he is cutting himself with this knife here as he continues to drive wrong side of the road here on the 5 freeway, passing by a sheriff's bus there. He is in the emergency lane here, so at least he's not going to be in the main lane here. But there is going to be a closure up ahead. It's going to be a Caltrans closure, so that could make for a very dangerous situation with all of those Caltrans workers who are simply out tonight doing their job here, now merging here in what appears to still be part of the emergency lane as part of that ongoing construction work here on the 5 freeway. Speaking of the 5, I just want to tell you real quick what is going on in terms of traffic. All of the lanes of the southbound 5 are closed. There is actually a CHP officer doing a traffic break on the southbound side. Now this pursuit is on the northbound side, so you may be wondering, why are they stopping the southbound side? Well, officers are not allowed to pursue the suspect on the northbound side because that is the wrong side of the freeway. So the officers of the LAPD, and I'll pull out so you can see, those officers are on the southbound side trying to catch up with this pursuit, but on the correct side of the road. You see the airship overhead, Air 16 from the LAPD's Foothill Division. This has been such a crazy pursuit. Wrong side of the road here on the 5 freeway. Now in the slow lane, there is another closure on the northbound side. So the CHP is holding traffic back on both the north and the southbound sides of the 5 to keep regular civilians, people like you and me who are simply on the road tonight, away from this suspect who apparently is trying to ram other vehicles head on and has already collided with a number of police vehicles as well. And we know he is also armed with a knife. So all in all, an incredibly dangerous situation as the suspect continues here on the northbound side of the freeway, but southbound
lanes, and he is coming up to the Buena Vista exit here in Burbank. The northbound side of the 5 is closed. Southbound side of the 5 is also closed. Officers will have to be very careful when this pursuit comes to a stop. Officers are preparing for a crossfire situation should this vehicle finally come to a stop. And also, we do have the SWAT team on their way, because should this turn into a situation where this becomes a barricaded suspect, where the suspect refuses to come out of the car, they could box him in using some of those SWAT vehicles. So they are preparing in every way they can, trying to think ahead about what may happen with this pursuit that started out as a reckless driver. Someone who was driving on, I believe it was going to be Tahanga, who was driving on Tahanga in an erratic fashion. LAPD airship spotted him, tried to get units behind him rather to pull him over. The suspect failed to yield, and the pursuit was on. Again, suspect is armed with a knife, so they have to be very careful about that. We hear that he may actually be cutting himself with that knife. CHP officers are blocking the freeway, so we're not going to see any other civilian vehicles here within close proximity. You see that officer there, he may have fired some beanbag rounds into the car. I'm getting the confirmation on now whether that was beanbags or lethal. Oh, just rammed into those cars. These are regular civilian vehicles here. Such a dangerous situation to have all these citizens and civilians here in the middle of this incredibly dangerous pursuit. CHP officers are approaching. I will pull back because this is a very dangerous point of the pursuit. We see that the officers have their weapons drawn. The officer needs help call is coming out, and we are hearing shots fired. So we are hearing that the officers did fire rounds into the vehicle.
And correction on the locator, we're between Buena Vista and Burbank Boulevard here on the southbound on the northbound side of the 5 freeway. As you see here, he's worked his way all the way down the freeway. CHP out here in force now. LAPD working their way up as well on the other side of the freeway. And officers have their guns out and pointing at the suspect. You see that one civilian vehicle backing away. So we'll see what happens here. We're keeping a wide shot because we don't know what's going to occur here. We don't want to. Okay, and we're okay. 2 or 1. All right. I'm going to keep that one off. You just let me know. You see here, CHP still standing there along with LAPD. We got word that there is one CHP officer who was injured in a fall going over the center divider. So hopefully he'll be okay. But right now they got a real tense situation here. You got a civilian vehicle into the front of the suspect vehicle. You have the second civilian vehicle in the number 1 lane there. being used as cover. You see him getting the driver out of that car, get him out of harm's way, and they're going to try working their way around and get people out of these cars, use them for cover. But right now you have people in that red car right there kind of stuck in the middle of this. So the other people are still stuck behind the traffic brake. You see how many there is. So it's just a matter of time to see what happens here. But the car looks like it's either disabled or what's going on with this driver, but he is not backing away like he was doing before. So once again, we're on the northbound 5 freeway in the southbound direction. And you see the CHP officer going in harm's way. Looks like he was trying to get the driver door open. Driver door is open. Looks like he's coming out. Guy is out. The air units stay in. He doesn't know if that's still the knife, but you see officers coming around on him, and they're backing away now because he jumped back into the car. So he got out. They didn't know if he still had the knife. The air unit was trying to give indication if he did or not. Yeah, the air unit's now saying the knife is still in his hand. So that kind of tells you why those officers backed away real quick. So now he's back in the car. Once again, stuck on this northbound 5 freeway. He's facing south against traffic between Buena Vista and Burbank. Okay. Roger. Roger that. Roger that. I'm moving forward. Okay. Just let us know what you need. So as we watch here, CHP and LAPD at a standoff now. That subject got out of the car and kind of approached them. He got back into the car, and the air unit and units down below still see he has the knife in his hands. So right now it's in a situation where they'll probably start using that less lethal rounds for the shotguns to knock out those windows to try to get a better look at him and keep him away. And also you see one unit there with patrol rifle as well at the front of that vehicle on the left. So they're ready for any situation that this guy may decide to do. And right now they're just holding him at bay. And I don't know if they've gotten the folks out of that red car yet or not. I saw the CHP unit try to go up there and look at it, but I didn't see anybody get out. So hopefully while we were watching something else, they got them out, because it's the last place you want somebody stuck when you have a situation like this going on. But CHP and LAPD coordinating between themselves here, keeping an eye on this guy. So we're waiting for LAPD Metro Division. They have a armored vehicle coming to the location to help out with this. And with that, they'll be able to get a little closer to the vehicle, contain him a little bit better with that armored vehicle. But right now, it's coming up out of downtown LA, so we'll see how long it takes to get here. What happened? What started to get regular traffic? Probably still at 16. So we're just watching this standoff here on the northbound 5 freeway between Buena Vista and Burbank, here in Burbank. So this has been a really wild pursuit starting in the Foothill Division of LAPD. Worked its way up through the surface streets, got onto Foothill, worked its way up onto Sunland, then turned around on Sunland, came back down towards Glen Oaks, got on the freeway at Roscoe, going the wrong way, continued southbound in the northbound lanes of 5 freeway, coming to a stop here at between Buena Vista and Burbank. He jumped out of his car for a second, kind of threatened the officers, and then got back into the car. Now he's in there armed with that knife. And so LAPD and CHP are just content to keep track of him, keep an eye on him, and wait for the metro units from LAPD to arrive to take over this situation. But the northbound 5 freeway is completely stopped here just at Burbank Boulevard. And he got by the traffic brake and got right into the vehicles who were in behind the traffic brake. And that's that red vehicle you see sitting there in the number 2 lane. Okay, there's the officers going up, get that driver out. There you go, protecting that driver, female, out. And be really scary for her to be stuck there. And so they're now saying he is barricaded in the car with a knife. Okay, we'll swing around to the other side, to the 5's coming around to the north side. Slide around here, get a better look from this side, see what's going on. Get a look at the driver. As we kind of zoom in here, the units will turn his head, or the air unit will put his light back on him. You'll be able to see the suspect inside the car, apparently still armed with that knife. And what we heard earlier, they were talking about that he was possibly cutting himself with that knife, but unfortunately there's the night sun coming back on. And we'll kind of look, see if we get a peek at that driver right now. But right now there's not enough light on it from the night sun from the LAPD air unit overhead. Yeah, I get enough light. Yeah, it's not.
Are vegans healthy? Are vegetarians healthy? French fries and beer are vegan, so you tell me. But seriously, the easy part for most of my clients who go vegan or vegetarian is cutting out the meat. What they forgot to include is the micronutrients. Let's take a look at the 11 superfoods you should take every day if you're a vegan or a vegetarian or just anybody wanting to increase their health. I'm Drew Canole, and I am obsessed with superfoods. I'm the weird dude that goes into Whole Foods and smells like patchouli. Today, I want to show you my 11 favorites that you can naturally get in less than 30 seconds a day, and you can take them while traveling, and they'll help you stay healthy and committed to maybe that weight loss or that fat burning regimen. Are you ready? I'm talking fast today, so try to keep up. First is chlorella. Now, chlorella is one of my favorite things. I like to call chlorella bella. Chlorella bella. And it's absolutely incredible. Astronauts take this stuff in space. It's loaded with chlorophyll, carbohydrates, vitamins, minerals. Gives you loads of energy. I just had 5 of these things. My energy's through the roof. Next up is moringa leaf. Separate studies have shown that moringa can lower blood sugar up to 29%, which is great news for the diabetic community. I know many people that are diabetic. You probably do too. Maybe you're even one of them. Third is spirulina. Got it right here. Spirulina has strong neuroprotective benefits, and it may actually help with Alzheimer's disease. Has 4 times the amount of antioxidants as blueberries on the ORAC field, right? Fourth is mint. Now, mint is antimicrobial, antiviral, anti-tumor, anti-allergenic, and antioxidant properties, but it is not anti-tasty. Now, that's not a word. I just made that up. But it is delicious. Fifth is matcha, matcha, matcha green tea right here. Matcha has L-theanine in it, which can help reduce stress, promote relaxation, and encourage mental clarity. I love a lot of mental clarity. Sixth is wheatgrass, okay? Did you know consuming just 1 ounce of wheatgrass is nutritionally equivalent to eating 2 pounds of greens? Who doesn't want more greens in their life? Green on the inside, clean on the inside. I mean, you should have known that. Seventh is ashwagandha. Ashwagandha sounds like a yogi, right? It's hard to spell. It's much easier to understand. Ashwagandha may help lower anxiety, keeping those stress levels in check, and it can also decrease depression. Eighth is turmeric. Turmeric, this little golden spice, is incredible. I love turmeric. Studies show that its golden spice is superior to Prozac in treating depression, which is pretty cool. Ninth is lemon. Lemon is one of the only citrus fruits on the planet that actually helps with phase 2 liver detoxification. 10th are beets. Much like the workout music, these beets boost stamina. A study showed that athletes who drink beetroot before working out could last 16% longer. Next up, monk fruit. Who needs sugar to spike up that insulin? Do something that doesn't have that in it. This exotic fruit, 170 times sweeter than sugar, but has 0 the calories. Somebody write that in the comments below. 0 the calories. Right here, monk fruit has medicinal benefits. Did you get all that? Good, because I've got some great news for you. You can actually get all these superfoods in one stop right here. When you click the link below this video, you can get Organifi green juice for less than 30 seconds a day, less than $2 a day. It's less expensive than any juice you can get with all the powerful medicinal benefits that we talked about of these 11 age-defining, skin-refining components that are right here. Check it out. It mixes so easy. I don't even really need to use this spoon to mix it. I mean, legitimately. Do you see how well this is mixing, my friend? It doesn't go to the bottom. It mixes with the water perfectly, and it makes it an easy drink. And it tastes absolutely incredible. So if you're looking to live a healthier, longer life, if you're looking for more energy, if you're looking for more vitality, more mental focus, then add in these 11 superfoods in your diet. I have this Organifi green juice, less than 30 seconds a day, no shopping, no chopping, really easy to clean up. It's all right here in this glass, which is pretty wild if you think about it. Try it for yourself today. Click the link below this video, get it right now, and move forward with transforming your life. I'm Drew Canole. Cheers to you for a new decision, a new day, something that's going to be so powerful. You're going to look back a year from now, you're going to say, where was I without my Organifi green juice? Click below this video. I'm Drew Canole. Remember, we're in this together, and I'll see you soon.
Yeah, there's not enough light down there. They've kind of moved the night sun off of it. Unfortunately, when that area takes his light off the car, it's completely dark, but you kind of see him through the windshield. They're lit up by the officer's flashlights from across the way, but it's just a really a tense situation when you have a situation where an armed guy is armed, acting irrational, jumping out with it, cutting himself, going the wrong way on the freeway here, ramming police cars. So it's just a situation the officers have to deal with here, and right now time is on their side to a point, but they have to also protect all those people who are in that backup just ahead of this guy, and just a matter of keeping an eye on him. And you see the traffic is completely stopped there here between Buena Vista and Burbank. The southbound side looks like it's being taken off at Hollywood Way, so they're trying to shut down the freeway both directions here because you have police units on both sides of the freeway. What are you looking at? Okay, okay. So you see now LAPD and CHP here keeping guns drawn, waiting for the next move. They've already asked for armored vehicles to come, the Metro unit from LAPD, the SWAT team, to come up here and take over since this has gone into an armed barricade. So let the officers with the barricade or the armored vehicles work their way up onto this and be able to block him in. But luckily they got all the civilians out of those cars that surround the suspect vehicle. That blue vehicle there, wrong way, trunk open. And there was a female driving that red car they were able to rescue and get out. So good thing there that you don't have to worry about somebody in that car. And we're listening to the area that direct the Bearcat or the armored vehicle up to the freeway here. So once this goes into a SWAT operation, then they'll start trying to get these vehicles out of the way, because they'll put SWAT vehicles on both sides of this suspect vehicle to guard against any issues that might happen. Then they'll start working to get these vehicles out of the way and get a pretty sterile area for this operation here. But you know, this thing has gone on for quite a while now, since it came off the surface streets, got on the freeway the wrong way. We're well over an hour now on this pursuit. That when it started in the surface streets in the foothill area. It's unknown what started the pursuit. But during the pursuit, they noticed the suspect was armed with a knife. He was waving it out of the window, and then he started ramming police cars, backing up into them. When they come to a stop, he would just suddenly back up into the unit behind him. And at one point on Sunland, made that U-turn and went into the side of the police vehicle. So ADW on a peace officer. Then when he got out here, definitely had that knife in his hand. You saw those officers back away from him very quickly. So they're just keeping their distance and trying to calm this thing down and not rush anything that would cause a outcome to which they really don't want to happen. But it's all up to the suspect right now. He just needs to drop that knife and get out of the car and let the officers take care of him. Once he gets out, they'll render aid to him, even though he's tried to ram their cars. They still will render aid as quickly as possible, because apparently he was bleeding. You see now a CHP unit sliding in behind him and blocking him in, so he cannot back up. So they've neutralized the car to a point. Looking through the window, you can see him still moving around in there in the driver's seat. And now with the CHP unit right behind him, they've used their spotlights to illuminate the inside of the car. And now these officers have now backed off and got over the center divider, using it as cover and concealment. See units right there that came into the rear. You have officers standing there keeping a track of him, because so right now we're just at a barricade situation of an armed suspect in the vehicle, wanted for assault with a deadly weapon, with the weapon being the car on the LAPD during the pursuit, where he rammed into the vehicles and backed into them on several occasions. So right now they're just waiting for LAPD Metro to arrive with their armored vehicles, and once the armored vehicles gets here, they'll start moving those civilian vehicles out of the way and use the armored vehicles to start negotiating with this guy to get out and give himself up. That appears now, if you look in there, he may have slid over to that passenger seat and looking out of that passenger window. We've seen this before, where you have a suspect in a vehicle and they'll bounce around from the front seat to the back seat, just doing all kinds of strange things in there. But he looks like he may have slid over to that passenger side, because that's where the officers are. I'm sure they're trying to talk to him and give him directions to come out and give himself up, so they can take him into custody, get him medical aid. But of course, he's not cooperating at this point, so he's not going anywhere. They got him pretty well jammed in here, and right now it's just waiting for the LAPD Metro to arrive with their armored vehicles. And with the armored vehicles, they pull right up next to him and use the windows that are on the side of the vehicle to look down in. Or also the turret that's on top to get in there. And a situation like this, they could very easily use chemical agents such as pepper spray, pepper balls, or even tear gas to get him to come out of the car. And then once he's out of the car, they can use other methods of less lethal to take him into custody. But right now, it's just wait and see with this guy. We're on the northbound 5 freeway. He's facing south, went against traffic, got on at Roscoe, came southbound in the northbound lanes, and then came to a stop here just between Buena Vista and Burbank. I can tell you the 5 freeway is pretty much shut down in both directions here. For the southbound side, they're taking you off at Roscoe. And for the northbound side, it's dead stop. So more than likely back at Buena Vista, Western Alameda is where you're going to have to get off, because you're not going to get past this point anytime soon. This is probably going to be a long playing situation here while LAPD and CHP try to figure this out. And we're hearing on the frequency, they have a little bit of dialogue going with the suspect right now. And that's what they try to do, is calm him down, try to talk some sense into him to, you know, go ahead and give it up, get out of the car without the knife so they can, you know, give him aid, because apparently he is bleeding, possibly from self-inflicted cuts from that knife. But he was waving it out the window, got out of the car with it in his hand and acting really bizarre. So right now they're just doing their best to talk to him to see if he can give up peacefully. As we zoom in here, you try to see a little bit of movement in that car. Yeah, it's because it's so dark, it's a little tough to look down in there. LAPD air unit still overhead, keeping close watch on him. Casey gets out and takes off running across the freeway. They have plenty of units there, but there's a very tall sound wall off the edge of the freeway, so there's not too many places he can go. Dropping down just a little bit here to get a better look at him. We had 2 air units overhead at one point. We were staying pretty high, and now one is broken off, so it gives me a little more room to come down. Five's got you. You see all the PD units there on the side, talking to him, the hand gesturing, trying to get him to give himself up. And we're still keeping an eye out for that LAPD Bearcat. Apparently he's had to get off the freeway and is working his way through the surface streets. And we'll be coming back probably opposite direction from Buena Vista to get on the freeway. And so they're kind of keeping an eye on him until they get here. But right now they're still working their way up the freeway, got off, and now are using surface streets to work through. And I'm kind of keeping an eye out the window for them. But right now, LAPD and CHP keeping the dialogue up with this guy, just trying to, you know, convince him to give up, come out. But right now, it doesn't look like that's working at this point. Once again, we're watching a pursuit that is stopped here on the 5 freeway. We're on the northbound side of the 5 freeway. Suspect came southbound and was slowly working his way down, then bumped into the front of this red car here. It all started over at Foothill Division with the pursuit. We've been up here for well over an hour now with a pursuit on surface streets, worked its way up Foothill to Sunland, and then from Sunland came back down through the mountains towards Glen Oaks, Latuna Canyon, and then right down here, getting on the wrong way on the freeway at Roscoe, ending up here on the freeway, wrong side of the road, stopped into the front of this civilian vehicle. 5 copy. And it's where we come to a stop. The suspect is armed with a knife. He has backed into several police cars during that pursuit. He would drive along, come to a stop. The units would stop behind him, and then he'd reverse it into the front end of the vehicles, the police vehicles. And at one point over on Latuna Canyon, he hooked a U-turn and smashed into the side of the lead police vehicle behind him and went the opposite direction, then made another U-turn around. So he's been pretty erratic here. A lot of hand gestures we saw, waving the knife out of the window at the officers, and now we've come to a stop here on this 5 freeway northbound. Like I said, between Burbank and Buena Vista, and CHP, LAPD working to try to negotiate with this subject to get out, give up that knife, and bring this to a peaceful end. LAPD SWAT is en route. Once they get here, they'll take over the operation and start more negotiations with this suspect. Well, they don't want it driving around them. Well, these up here? I don't know. Or they're not blocked in, right? So, yeah, that's it. We're just kind of discussing up here why the cars to the north of this have not been allowed to leave. I'm not really sure why they're doing that, but they're stuck there. Then there's a whole lot of people stuck behind this on that northbound freeway. So they're more likely taking you off back at Buena Vista, or back at Burbank, Western, and Alameda. And if you're just joining us, you're watching the barricaded termination of a pursuit here on the 5 freeway. We're on the northbound side of the 5 freeway where the suspect came the wrong way. And luckily at a pretty slow rate of speed, came up to a traffic break by the CHP, went around them, and then rolled slowly into the front of this red car here. As pretty much it came to a stop here, and then the officers came up, got all those drivers out of the cars around it, and now they're in a barricade situation here where suspect is in the car, he's armed with a knife. During the pursuit, he has backed into several LAPD units and also sideswiped another one when he made a U-turn coming back directly at the officers. So very unstable person driving this car, and they're dealing with a male with a knife. And right now we're just in a standoff here on the 5 freeway here in Burbank. Just getting an update from our assignment desk. We're hearing that this all started with a call at 7:24 this evening up at Big Tahunga and Oro Semi. Anyway, this all started just about 7:24 with a man with a knife at Oro Vista and Tahunga up over in the Sunland area. At what point the LAPD got in pursuit of this subject, we don't know, but it was Foothill units that worked that area, got into pursuit. We heard it about an hour and 10 minutes ago when this we first were alerted to it, and got overhead as it was going on Foothill at Oro Vista, going back in the area where it started. And then he turned off of Sunland onto Latuna and took Latuna through the hills, came back down towards Glen Oaks and on the area on Glen Oaks, worked his way down towards Roscoe, and that's where he got on the freeway the wrong way, and that's why we've ended up where we're at here. Luckily, traffic was very heavy on the freeway, so once he got on, traffic started coming to a natural slowdown and stop without a lot of people coming out of it. A lot of people coming at it at a high rate of speed, so that helped out quite a bit. He worked his way along the center divider. CHP brought in a traffic break from the south here, coming away from Burbank, and was able to get traffic stopped. Then he went around the units that were blocking the freeway and then slowly rolled in front of this red vehicle right here. Now the LAPD officers have been able to get everybody out of those cars and out of harm's way, and now the negotiations have started. And we're still watching this standoff here on the 5 freeway. It appears the suspect in the vehicle has thrown things out of the passenger side onto the street, onto the freeway behind that vehicle that's off to his left. And I don't know what it is, but he tossed things out of the car. They are talking to him. They are trying to negotiate with him to give up. So just a matter of getting him to calm down and get out of the car. So right now it's a waiting game, and it's waiting for what he is going to do. But he is armed with a knife. LAPD and CHP working here to negotiate a peaceful end to this. Are they turning people around down there? I don't want to. Okay. And the folks that were stuck behind this on the northbound side, they're starting to do their operation where they turn them around and send them back south on the freeway and get them off the freeway behind this so they can clear the freeway off. The closures are probably going to be back by Western and Alameda to keep you from getting up into this. And everybody trapped in between is now being taken back the opposite way in the freeway and taken off at Burbank. And we're hearing they're still negotiating with the suspect. Yeah. Yeah. No.